knowing the difference. When I'm talking about knowing the difference, I'm talking about knowing the difference between little nuanced things that we have to do in healing. For instance, what is the difference between abandoning someone, maybe abruptly, and enforcing your boundaries? Because as we've learned in our healing school, enforcing our boundaries means that we have to walk away. Enforcing our boundaries means that we're removing access to ourselves and our resources. So how do we know that when we're enforcing our boundaries, we're not just really abandoning a person, walking away too soon, not allowing time for the other person to prove themselves? How do we know we're not being hasty or too harsh? How do we know whether we're walking away in a way that's healthy, asserting the boundaries, or we're actually abandoning the person? So, one of the things you'll want to look at, and this is a good subject to take notes on if you have your pen and your paper, you want to look at your motivation. A lot of times it's not what we do, but it's why we do it. When we are reactive, especially out of emotion, one of those emotions being fear, then that would be an example of an unhealed action. That's something that's not displaying our maturity, our growth, and our healing, but it's showing that we are in the unhealed trauma state. So it's more of a trauma response when you're reacting out of fear or very strong emotion. So ask yourself, was I emotional when I walked away? Was I very angry when I walked away? Those would be signs that maybe it was more of a trauma response. Um, on the other hand, if you're walking away only to enforce your boundaries, you'll notice that it was very calm. You'll notice that you were very calm. When we walk away in a healed uh, manner, from a healed place, from a place of maturity, personal power, we are not emotional. We are not angry. We are not reactive. It's not immediate. It's not spur of the moment. It's after thought. It's after consideration, deliberation, that we come to a conclusion that we're going to need to depart from an individual, from a person. Obviously, this depends on the size and the length of the relationship. Someone that we've only known for 1 or 2 days is not what we're talking about. We're talking about relationships that have been involved for some time, some weeks or some months. And when we decide that now we're going to walk away from this relationship where there's an emotional bond, we want to make sure we're not just hastily abandoning a person or something that we've built with someone. And so, in order to know the difference, we want to analyze our motive. What really was driving it? If it was emotionalism, reactivity, fear, anger, then maybe it wasn't coming from a healed place. Maybe it was coming from being triggered. Maybe it was coming from fight, flight, freeze, or not freeze, but flight, especially, right? So it's a flight response. Ask yourself, um, did I did I end that relationship because I didn't know how to make myself feel safe? That's different than ending your relationship because you know that is how you keep yourself safe. See the difference there? It could be the same technical action, like, hey, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. This is over. You walk away, but you just do it because you felt dysregulated, like you don't know how to stay safe. And so you decided just to end it? Or did you do it because you know exactly how to stay safe? And this was the best way to do it. In this way, we're able to analyze our motives, which then gives us an indication of what the difference is. Gives us an indication of what the difference is. So that's what I want you to focus on. Not what is the action. It's not what about should I block them or should I have left it? It's what's my motive in doing it. For instance, was there clear, documented pattern of abuse? Could you have or did you take the time to document Like actually take a note in your phone or even mentally where you can list out one, two, three times they kept violating the same boundary, or one, two times they kept being abusive in the same manner. Because that would indicate that now your walking away was done from a place of intellect, of being healed, of having thought it out, of having analyzed it, because you have a clear documented pattern. Oh, I've told them already, don't do this. When I told them, they didn't react very well. And now here they go again. Or maybe they said, okay, okay, but now here they go again. And now they want to give their tears and apologize. And I've given them chances, but they keep violating me again after these chances. So now that I have a pattern, I have a reason to believe that this is not going to work out because this is not living up to my standards currently right now. It's not about my ability to predict the future, but I have a pattern from which I can see based on this pattern that this isn't manifesting the relationship according to my standards. And therefore I need to cut it off. This person does not qualify. Do you see how I'm discussing it from a standpoint as if it were a professional decision, meeting standards, qualifications, pattern, records? Yes, I'm talking about a romantic relationship or a friendship. You want to be able to be that deliberate, that precise, so that when you walk away, you know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, it's not that you didn't give them the opportunity. It's not that you didn't communicate. It's not that you didn't assert. It's not that you didn't know how to keep yourself safe. What can happen sometimes with trauma survivors is they'll abandon a relationship right away, quickly, just cut it off, because honestly, they don't know how to do the asserting part. Because you got two things you can do with your boundaries. When there's a violation, you can assert yourself and you can walk away. But sometimes they don't know how to do the asserting themselves part. Isn't that true? Sometimes they don't feel comfortable or they don't have the skills to understand how to go in with nuance and say, hey, what you did here was a very big violation for me. And I need to sit you down and help you to understand how serious this is and what I expect, which is where it's more, that's the more important part of the relation, the assertiveness. To assert, by the way, means to tell the truth. So to have the skills means you know how to communicate to someone what you require of them. That's the skills of assertiveness. To communicate to someone what they need to know in order to be able to move forward with you because you understand that it's actually loving to assert your boundaries. It's not mean or harsh. It's a loving action to assert your boundaries. So when you say, oh, I'm the queen of blocking someone, walking away, you may be priding yourself in not knowing how to assert yourself because you could be doing it because you actually don't know how to go in and communicate to someone from personal authority. This is what I expect from you. If we are to move forward, here's how I need you to react and respond in the future. Here's what I need in this relationship. Then we don't know how to get our needs met. Does that make sense? If you don't know how to get your needs met, then that's why you're blocking and walking away so fast. And that's a destructive pattern because you can actually lose good people that way. You can lose good people, and you may have lost some good people. So let's learn the skills of assertiveness. You can learn how to be assertive in my book. This book here is available on Amazon. It's called Mind by Roman Zanoni. And here it gets into like real technical stuff where it gives you the phrases that you can actually say. It's called the ear technique. And then it actually breaks down for you, okay, here's being assertive, and here's some different ways of asserting yourself. And then it goes through point by point. You can do it this way, 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 you can do it this way. So it's actually a skill that you learn. It's actually asserting yourself as a skill that you learn. Not everyone's good at it, but the people who are good at asserting themselves have better relationships, are more successful financially and in business. They're able to convey their ideas. They're well respected everywhere they go. They do not feel afraid around other people or in relationships. They have less anxiety. People who are assertive, therefore, are secure in their attachment and they're happy, all from learning the skills of assertiveness. So it's actual skills that you need to learn like a school, like you need to drill and realize, oh, wow, there's ways and angles that I can communicate to people around me. Hey, this is what I need from you. Hey, don't do that. Hey, don't do that. And I keep myself safe in the process and I get what I need. I get my needs met. The book title Mind by Roman Zanoni. You can also learn skills of assertiveness by going to my YouTube, but I recommend enrolling in the healing course on my website to learn those skills. So again, are we giving people the opportunity to show how they would respond after we're assertive, how they do respond to our authority, or are we just afraid and running away? That's what we want to look at. Also, is it partly because of something that they haven't even done yet? That's a bad sign. You ever do that? Sometimes we are afraid that a person's going to turn out to be bad or going to hurt us, and then we run away. That would be a sign of trauma response rather than being in the healed response or coming from a place of personal authority. We don't need to be afraid of what someone's potentially going to do. We want to focus on the documented pattern of actual uh, violations of our standards or our boundaries. Here's another one where we have to be able to discern the difference. What is the difference between giving someone grace, giving them a chance, or staying in the relationship because we're really trauma bonded to them? And this is just the cycle of abuse. Okay. So this is kind of the inverse of what we're talking about. When someone does something wrong, how do we know that we're really just giving them grace and really giving them a chance and we're not just making excuses to stay in an abusive relationship? How do we know if we are really being kind and giving them a chance and then versus just staying in the trauma cycle or we're trauma bonded? How do we know the difference? Does anyone know? How would you know the difference between if you're just extending grace? Another situation here where we have to analyze the motive. For instance, if you're motivated by fear of loss, fear of being alone, I'm afraid I'll be alone forever, fear of retaliation, those would not be the reason to stay in the relationship or to extend grace. Yeah, I'm going to give them another chance because I'm really afraid that I won't be able to find anyone else out there. I hate dating. I hate dating. I'm afraid of being alone. Those would be trauma response, trauma bond. You're stuck in a cycle. Another one is sunken cost fallacy. There's another cognitive distortion. So we're saying, well, I've already put so much time in, I've already put so much effort in, so I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to forgive them. Right? Or it could be religious, like, well, I think we're supposed to forgive and forget. Well, we want to analyze to understand if we're really giving them that grace versus we're really just in a trauma bond is, are we motivated by fear? I'm afraid God's going to be mad at me. I'm afraid they're going to be mad at me. I'm afraid I'm going to lose them. I'm afraid I'm going to be alone. All of that's trauma. Or are we motivated by love? I'm not talking about romantic love, but I'm talking about the principle love, focusing on everything that is beneficial, focusing on everything that is beneficial, beneficial toward yourself and the other party, but also other people who could be involved, such as your children. So that's how we know the difference. Are you doing it because of fear or are you doing it based on love? When you make decisions based on love, you're focusing on what is going to be beneficial, what's going to be good for you. Now, is it going to be good for you to give them access to you, full access to you again? Is it going to be good for you to just keep falling for the same trick over and over again? Is it going to be good for you to keep staying in the same broken relationship with the same abusive man or woman? Because if you're motivated by what's going to be beneficial, and that's love, right? That's where you know that what you're doing is purely coming from love. It's not a fear-based thing. That's not why we're forgiving them. We're not afraid. That means we're doing so. We say, I love this person. And you might be religious, might say, I love God. That's partly why I'm doing this. Okay, but are you afraid? No. If you can truly say, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm not afraid of leaving this person. Then it's coming from the right place. Does that make sense? I'm not afraid of retaliation or what someone's going to do to me. Then it's coming from the right place. I'm not afraid of losing what I've put in, sunken cost fallacy. I'm not motivated by fear of loss. Then it's coming from the right place. It should be fear-free, totally motivated by love. Are you fine taking your losses? Are you fine being alone? That's coming from a healed place. Let's take another example while we have some time here. Imagine your mom calls. Ding. Yeah, I need you to help your cousin to move on Saturday. I need you to help your cousin to move. Okay. How do we determine the difference between when we're falling back into people pleasing or we're being generous? Because some of us want to be that good son, that good nephew, that good cousin, that good daughter, right? So how do we know the difference between whether we're being that, just being that good person that we're trying to be, or if we're actually falling into people pleasing? How do you know the difference? Mom's waiting. Hello? Are you there? I need you to help your cousin move on Saturday. Are you going to be there? One question to ask yourself, is there a potential here for me to feel resentment? Is there a chance that I could show up to go do this and then start feeling resentment? Like if I got there and other people weren't helping, or if I just got there and other people were, but I still felt like it was taking my time, it was taking my energy. Because that resentment right there, that resentment is an indication that you are not asserting yourself. Because assertive people don't feel resentment. Did you know that? Assertive people don't feel resentment. They're just assertive. We don't have to in the back end resent anyone. Never. Because we just tell people exactly what we want, exactly how we feel. Imagine you were being completely honest. What would you say in a moment of total honesty to your mom? Do I look like a moving service? I mean, what is this? You just call me demanding that I do this? I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to help, to be honest. I don't know. It's a lot. It's actually a lot that you're asking me. It might sound small to you, but it's a lot that you're asking me. What would total honesty sound like? Ask yourself that. Here's the thing. Here's how you identify between people pleasing versus being a good person, being generous, being kind. People pleasing is being nice. Niceness is pleasing. We're doing it from a place of desperation. We're doing it from a place of weakness. We're concerned what the other people are thinking, what they're feeling, because we don't know how to keep ourselves safe in relationships. And so we think we keep ourselves safe by keeping everyone appeased. But that means then you're manipulating them to react and respond a certain way so then they don't treat you a certain way. You see how dysfunctional that is? When you're people pleasing, you're manipulating because you're holding back the truth. Oh, I can't tell my mom that. Okay, now you're not telling anyone the truth of how you really feel, and you're showing up. Hi, yeah, I'm so happy to be helping you move. And you're people pleasing, but you feel obligated and resentful and undercompensated, and underappreciated. That's not being a good daughter, coming from a good place of generosity and kindness. See, kindness is different than niceness. Kindness is generosity. Generosity is not coming from a place of desperation or lack. Generosity is coming from a place of abundance. Generosity is coming from a place of abundance. That means that I don't feel depleted or overwhelmed by the ask. That's how I know it's generosity. I don't feel resentful. I don't feel I'm taking a loss. I have so much to give. I had so much time on Saturday that I thought, why not? I would like to do this. I feel motivated to do this because I'm motivated by a heart full of love. It's coming from a place of abundance, not of lack, a place of strength, a place of personal authority. It's kindness. Here, let me give you a little bit of all that I have. Not, oh, okay. I'll do it. Oh, God, let's do this. No, no. Just be authentic. If you're not feeling like you are abundant and you have so much to give, then say no. Your initial response, anyway, should be no or let me get back to you. That should always be your initial response when your mom calls or really anyone calls. Everyone, your initial response, especially when you're in the healing phase, because you have to get out of being a yes man or a yes woman. So your healing, your initial response needs to be no, can't, sorry, hate to let you down. Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint you. No, can't do it. No. Or give me some time. Let me think about it. I'm not sure. Got to get back to you. Why? Because you need time to think. If we want to get out of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, everyone says, how do I heal? Pause, slow down, 5 to 7 seconds. That's how you heal. Slow everything down and stop reacting in the moment based on external pressure, external concerns, or emotions. Pause. When you get past the external pressure for a moment and the internal emotions, there's something else in there beyond all this that's buzzing around. There's something else in all the noise. And you start to see it only after 5 seconds has passed, because that's when the wise cerebral cortex comes online and says, yes, what is the decision that needs to be made? And now you're able to consult the wise part of yourself. Yes, thank you, Father Mind. Thank you, Mother Mind, for coming on. Yes, I'm so glad you're here. I got a quandary. My mom wants me to go do this, and I don't want to. And your wise cerebral cortex says, there's your answer right there. You don't want to. Life is too short to spend time doing things that you don't truly want to do while pretending that you want to do them. And you go, that is so wise. How did I come up with that? You waited, you paused. That 5 to 7 seconds change your life. That's how you heal. Slow down, and start learning to access your wisdom. It's there. It's there. I've never met a client who didn't have it. Never met one who didn't have it. I had a client who had half a brain. She said, I had a traumatic brain injury, and then the doctors removed half of my brain. And she still had a wise mind. She still had the ability to pause for 5 to 7 seconds and to think wiser. Do you understand? You have it. Everyone has it. So access it. Stop running away from it and silencing it because you want to just alleviate the stress in the moment. No, 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 no. Pause. Everybody's got to wait. Mom, let me get back to you. Click. She's got to wait. You think, and then you realize, I don't need to go and do this. Or you might realize something different. When you say no initially to all those people, you can come back later and say, hey, you know what? I changed my mind. I do want to come on Saturday and help you out. That's why we say no initially. Because when you do yes, you can't go back on a yes as easily, right? Does that make sense? You say, oh, yeah, I'm going to help you. You can't think about it later and be like, I don't want to. And then go back. I decided I don't want to help you, right? Kind of, you trap yourself with a yes. The no's set you free. So that's a healing technique to learn. Learn the power of no. Learn the power of being able to turn someone down without having a good reason. Stop explaining. No explaining, no justifying, no defending. Don't have a reason. Don't have plans. They tell you, they say, hey, do you want to come out with us? We are going to go to the music fest of our lifetime. And you can literally have no plans, no excuse, no reason, and just be like, nah, I'm good. No explanation. It could seem like, wait, we need you to come to the Cancer Run charity. It's the most important event of the year. And just don't explain why you can't come. Just don't go. Sorry, I won't be there. Just letting you know. Why? I'm just letting you know. This is me informing you. Don't give an explanation. Make sense? That's healing. That's trauma healing. Honorable mention, love bombing versus a guy that's just really loving. Well, how do you tell the difference? Starts the relationship. He's hitting you. He's got the gifts. He's complimenting you left and right, telling you how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are. How do you know whether this is love bombing or if he's just a really loving, passionate guy? It's a trick question. You don't know. Jamie's sharp over here. You don't know. Initially, you don't know. The dumbest thing I've seen people do, so dumb. I cut them off because they were love bombing me. What? Yeah, the guy was too loving. I couldn't trust it, so I cut him off. Oh, what are you talking about? So he was loving, so you cut it off because you couldn't trust it because he must have been trying. Yeah, it must have had a play. He must have had something up his sleeve. He was probably trying to trick me as a manipulation. Give it time. Let it cook. What keeps you safe is your assertiveness, your standards, your boundaries. It's like a protective cage around you. The moment they slip up, then you nail them. It's the moment they stop being love bombing, they stop answering the texts, they stop answering the calls, they stop whatever it is, giving the gifts and taking the trips or following through on what they said they were going to do. It's at that moment where there's an incongruence, then you nail them. Bam! Hey, Mr. Love Bomby, what is this? And then you see how they respond when you nail them with your assertiveness. You see how they respond then. You don't abandon them in the love bombing phase. That is foolish because an actual loving man can keep that up for 50 plus years. You don't know how many gifts you just walked away from. What are you doing? No, no, it's not the actions. It's not the you predicting the future. It's you catching the incongruence with your assertiveness. What gets women in trouble is not that the man was love bombing. It's that the moment he stopped, she still stayed, hoping to get more of that from the past. You see, that's the problem. She's thinking, oh, when do we get back to the good part? And then she gets in a breadcrumbing cycle where he gives a little and then doesn't do anything and gives a little. That's what gets us in trouble is we don't call them on it when as soon as something goes weird, we're not assertive and we don't say, hey, I don't like this. This weekend was weird. You were just weird this weekend. We don't call them on it then, right away. That's how you keep yourself safe. Then you see how they respond. And when they catch themselves up and they get back in line, then enjoy the loving, enjoy it. Yeah, it's great. You should be showering me with gifts and attention. Keep it going. Yes, keep it coming. Keep it coming. Okay. Don't be afraid of love. That's foolish. Your boundaries and assertiveness will keep you safe.